Okay, great. Well, again, welcome. We have 54 registered for the day. This is the third Tuesday Roundtable for Nonprofit Leaders, brought to you by the Southern Illinois Community Foundation. Again, I am Russell Williams. I'm Director of Community Impact, Learning, and Leading for the Community Foundation. I'm going to introduce one of our new staff members, Michelle Snyder, here in just a minute. But so thankful that you're here. This is something that we started since the COVID pandemic began, and every third Tuesday of the month, we have in our program, Philanthropy Speaks, a program that will help you be a better leader in your nonprofit organization, whether you're a volunteer or you're an employee. So thankful that you could join us today. And as I said earlier, our program for today features Tom Harness, and I'm going to introduce him in just a second. But first, Michelle Snyder. Michelle Snyder, you may know her as the Executive Director of the Southern Illinois Wellness Organization here in Southern Illinois, but she's also a Program Director for the Southern Illinois Community Foundation, working on Nonprofit Network and Give SI. And Michelle, tell us a little bit more about what you're working on.
Thank you, Russ. I have really enjoyed the few weeks that I've spent here at the Community Foundation, and I'm going to be heading up a program, two programs, but the one we're going to talk about today is called Give SI. Give SI is a community day of giving for all of Southern Illinois nonprofits, and it's going to be in conjunction with the global movement we all know as Giving Tuesday. During this event, WSIL, the Southern Illinois Community Foundation, United Way of Southern Illinois, and News 3 will be launching a 30-hour campaign for nonprofits throughout Southern Illinois. So this event is going to start on Monday, November 30th at 6 p.m. Again, it's 30 hours, so it's going to run until midnight on Giving Tuesday, which this year is December 1st. And so a lot of our nonprofits in Southern Illinois are joining us for this Community Giving Day. And there are some benefits I wanted to highlight real quick for some of our nonprofits. We invited those who are participating in Give SI on this call today so they could find out more about the toolkit that we're going to be sharing with everyone. But Give SI is really a day for nonprofits to join us for Giving Tuesday and be able to take advantage of some of the matching funds we're going to be having available. As of right now, I think we're up to about $16,000 in matching funds. So the way it will work is a nonprofit who raises, for example, 2% of the total funding we get for Give SI will then receive 2% of the matching pool of funds. So it's a great opportunity for nonprofits to gain some additional funding during Give SI. And of course, there's some additional benefits. We're all familiar with the Facebook fundraiser or some of the other fundraisers we've typically used for Giving Tuesday. And those fundraisers have some drawbacks, including the fact that no Southern Illinois nonprofit is probably ever going to be able to access some of those matching funds. It just was not designed that way, and I don't know of any who have been able to gain some of those matching funds. It's bigger corporations, bigger nonprofits that are actually able to capture some of those funds because they're gone like that. But another benefit is that we're going to be providing you with a list of donors. So if you do use Facebook Fundraiser, you know how it works. You get a check usually the first quarter of the next year. And it doesn't tell you anything except that here is your check for $35. Here's what you raised on Giving Tuesday on your Facebook fundraiser, along with 5 million other nonprofits who are raising money as well. The benefit for Give SI is that you are going to be able to know who donated to your specific nonprofit on that day, and you're going to be able to leverage some of those matching funds. So we have several nonprofits signed up. We're almost up to 30 now. We have our matching pool is up to almost $16,000 right now. We're excited to grow that as well. And so we just wanted to take this opportunity to say that this giving program is available. We're kicking it off this year, and we expect it to grow over the next few years until this program can really develop itself. So if you are a nonprofit and you're on this call and you have not joined us, please reach out to me. You can either call me at the office, 618-997-3700, or you can go onto our website, which is Southern Illinois Community Foundation. Go to Give SI and sign up there. We are still accepting applications for or registrations for nonprofits. So join us this year for a Community Day of Giving, where we're going to raise a ton of money for nonprofits in Southern Illinois.
Thank you, Michelle. It sounds like a great program. Michelle is going to hang around on our call and also give us a recap at the end of this hour around noon. And if we have time, I'm sure Michelle can field some questions. But reach out to her again if you have additional questions or need more time to discuss the Give SI program. Would like to introduce our main presenter for today. He's a friend of mine. He's actually one of my best friends, Tom Harness. Tom Harness is president and owner of Harness Digital Marketing. It's a digital marketing firm that has worked with over 100 businesses and organizations on social media, SEO, and email marketing. Tom is an entrepreneur, business owner with over 20 years of a combined experience in education, IT, nonprofits, and business. And Tom is also a U.S. Army veteran and a Southern Illinois alumni. So happy to welcome Tom to our third Tuesday roundtable. Hello, Tom.
Well, good morning. And really why Michelle's hanging around is to keep an eye on me. You know that, right? That's the real reason that she's hanging around. But I'm very happy that she is going to stay. Did I pause?
Nope, you're still on, Tom.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to continue on. I didn't know you were just done and going to let me go with my show. Usually I get parameters that I get to talk in. Do I get parameters, Russ?
Yeah, I think I think that's why Michelle and I are both on the call today.
I got you. Well, thank you for the kind words. I kind of want to just dive in and talk to your group of nonprofits first to tell them that I think one of the things that binds most of us together is our passion and love to help others, to give back to a community. And when Michelle reached out to me and Byram and Russ and said, hey, we want to do this project of Give SI, I really wanted to jump on board. I do want to say a couple of things about it before we dive into some of the social media and some of the strategies that I want to give the nonprofits. One of the reasons I brought out the year one ugly Christmas suit jacket was one of my goals early on, was to bring light to some of the nonprofits in the region that were not marketed, didn't have a lot of opportunity. And I was very proud to be able to raise over $30,000 in 4 years for just various different nonprofits. And now, the Southern Illinois Community Foundation comes aboard and they say, hey, guess what? If I would have known these guys 4 or 5 years ago, I could have just had a one-shop stop and it could have just went into one fund. And instead of helping one, I could have helped all these amazing nonprofits. And I think that's one of the best benefits that I'm excited about helping and partnering with you guys on, and making sure that more than just one Southern Illinois nonprofit is helped in this region, that we truly become a united region and we help everybody, as many as we can. So like Michelle said, if you are not part of the Community Foundation for the Give SI project, please reach out to her. We want to raise, I know the goal is like 30,000. I think it should be 50,000, Russ. I really do. I think, Byram, I think we need to step it up a little bit more. And the goal should be, the matching pool for that should be 50,000, because I think that could have a huge impact on our region. So we're going to do our best to make that happen. All right. So let's dive in. And for our region, I don't want to overwhelm many of you. I know that when some of you hear social media, there's either angst, or it's, oh, I got to do this, or it's, oh, I love it, but it's a time sucker. I spend all my time on it. So what I really want to do is to give you strategies that you will absolutely use. And I'm going to focus on 2 platforms. And then I'm going to talk to you about a couple of other platforms that, if you're really excited, or you've got some extra help, or if you've got some young, hip and cool people on your staff that are into things like TikTok and Twitter and some of the other things, that I can give you some ideas for them. It's really the tools I want to give you today are going to make you successful for Giving Tuesday. And that's kind of what we want to focus on. So let's talk about the 2 big ones, Facebook and Instagram. All right. So everybody knows about Facebook. The problem is that Facebook really is for branding. It's really to get your business, your organization out there and being known. It's not real great for turnover unless you have donations. The donation button that has been added to the Facebook page has been a huge game changer for many organizations. They've also implemented it to where you can now do a birthday donation, and you can to a nonprofit and charity. They've done a really great job of providing free resources. Yes, there are some drawbacks on the time frame that you can get, the matching funds and some of that, but for a small nonprofit or a regional nonprofit, amazing opportunities to use that donate button. So if you haven't set that up, you need to set that up. Now, as we get into Give SI, I want to talk about two strategies. You guys individually and everybody working collectively towards Give SI. What we'd like to see is, if you are a part of Give SI, to take that donation button off during that day, that Giving Tuesday day, and encourage everybody to focus on the page, the donation page that goes through the Southern Illinois Community Foundation, the Give SI page. What that does is they can donate to the Give SI as a whole or your individual nonprofit. That money that goes in there is going to absolutely help increase, and you're going to get more. Anything, you guys all know that even if it's $10 more, $15 more, doesn't matter what it is, every little bit helps and contributes to the bottom factor of your organization. So we're asking for that. If you don't want to be a part of that, you better get that donation button up. You need to get it ready to go, and you need to utilize it. So the donation button is the very first thing. Many of you might already have that. It's underutilized, but you need to make sure that you drive people to that. And on Give SI, the Give SI day, the Giving Tuesday day, if you would be so kind, disable that and then have everybody push to the Give SI actual page where they can donate. Just that day. You can use the rest of it. And the bigger we get in there, the bigger pool, the more we can help everybody, your organizations and everybody's. So that's the first thing I want to talk about Facebook, is that you got to utilize that donation button. The next one is the use of event pages. Now, we are going to be working, Harness Digital Marketing is going to be working with the Give SI page to set up an event page. Now, this event page is going to be centered through the Southern Illinois Community Foundation. What I would like to see collectively is that everybody can go to that page and you can add that event to your organization page, which means it shows up there. You can promote it. You can do whatever you want. But we have one page that day or during this whole period that we can donate to, just an event. What it does again is it's streamlining all donations into one place, kind of like our own little mini Facebook donation page that Michelle was kind of talking about. We're doing our own. And this pool goes collectively in, and then Byram and Michelle and all of them over the Southern Illinois Community Foundation will work on how that's distributed out to each one of you. It's basically, we're kind of collectively one voice, one social platform to rule them all, kind of a Lord of the Rings kind of thing, if you will. It's to really push this and help everybody, not just one organization. We collectively work together, we can make this happen. Now, this event page, if you want to do that, will be up hopefully within the next week or two. You can go to the Southern Illinois Community Foundation page. On the event page itself, you'll be able to go and see, and you can add. Many times it's the same location where you would send out invites. Many of you are aware of sending out invites to people that you want to come to the event. In there, it's add event to a page. You will click that, your pages or page that you admin on, that you manage, will pop up. And what will happen is you can choose that event to be added to your page, and then people will see that. The other beauty of this, everybody, is you now have a single platform that you too can actually post in and let people know about your nonprofit organization. So think of it as kind of like a group page or a private group page or a public group page. We now have one location. So I see Cammie here with the Salvation. I think she's still with the Salvation Army. Give me a thumbs up, right? Yeah. So with the Salvation Army, so she wants, and she's looking for people for ring bearers, ring bear. That's not ring bearers. That's horrible. But if she's looking for people like, what's that?
Bell ringers.
Bell ringers, right? I just changed the name. No big deal. I'm coming on here just changing up your whole format. But if she's looking for that, or she wants to inform people and let them know what it goes to, and we're going to talk about content. It's got one voice, one platform that everybody can go to. We can collectively invite. Think of all these nonprofits that are on here right now. Think of all the people that we can invite to that one page, and then we can start going in and listing all the nonprofits that it could help. And when one donation is met, Think about that. Think about collectively what we can do together on this one event page instead of having all these separate event pages out there. Now, on the flip side of that, if you choose not to, that's fine too. Create your event page. Make sure that you send invites out. This event page needs to be out and up no less than 30 days from Giving Tuesday. So that means November 1st, this event page needs to be up and active. If you want to work with the Southern Illinois Community Foundation, we'll be happy to let you send out that event page. I'm sure Michelle can let everybody know what the event page address is, the URL, and they can go to that. So when we do this, again, it's going to collectively let everybody know, all the nonprofits. We over at Harness Digital Marketing are going to work with the ones that are already up to put content in there, but we invite you to put your own content in there as well. We also encourage you to promote your event or promote Give SI on your Facebook page. Now, this toolkit that Michelle's talking about, we are working with them on creating and getting this out to you. We are going to create an image for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, portrait and landscape to send to you. That way we help you. We want to provide value through the foundation. So we want to help you. Now, you can make your own images, but if some of you just want one thing and you want something to send out every so often, we're going to send you a template. Cammie, did you raise your hand? Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure you didn't have a question. So when you do your own event page, those are some of the things that you need to think about is how you're going to put content in it. It takes time, right? Well, guess what? If you work with the Southern Illinois Community Foundation, we can make sure content goes out, that people are aware of everything, and you can too. And there's not that need and that oh, I've got to make sure, I've always got to do this. Guess what? We have your back at Give SI. We're going to make sure that content goes out, that we have this one streamlined location for you to go to. So we've got the Facebook event, and then we have your Facebook page. On the Facebook page, let's talk about some content. Some of the content that you need to be putting out is consistently a post a day, 5 days a week. We are a fickle community on social media. We want to be driven. We have all this content coming in. We want to make sure that at the end of the day, people are kept in the loop. It's like the billboard effect. I call it the billboard effect. We go by, we want to make sure that we keep seeing it, right? We have to stay relevant, and we want things to be changed up a little bit. Yes, you absolutely could use the piece of content that we generate for you and post it daily. Is it going to get old? Yes. Do you need to change it up? Yes. However, it's better than not doing anything. It's all about baby steps with a lot of nonprofit organizations. You got to start being consistent with one thing and then build from that. But to be completely effective, to really make Giving Tuesday work for your organization, you need to be 30 days out, posting consistent content, 5 days a week, doesn't matter which days it works for you, 5 days a week, and you need to vary that content up. Now, what type of content? There's 5 types of content strategy that we've used at Harness Digital Marketing that work really well. And then you need to rotate these. Sometimes people like to do the same thing, image, or video. No, you need to break it up for the Facebook algorithm. One of the things, content only, just straight text. Just straight text, that's it. Just a text with a quote or something positive, just straight text. Next one, a link back to your organization. These link backs are crucial for you. You need to drive traffic back to your website, back to if you have your own donation page, you need to drive traffic back to that. Now, why is that important? It's important because for SEO, search engine optimization, meaning the more links that are going back to your website, the more Google or Bing, when they start searching websites, they're seeing, oh, hey, guess what? This website, Southern Illinois Community Foundation, they're really getting a lot of traffic. So they're legit, they're important, and that moves their ranking up. So you want to have content through social media go back to your website. Very crucial for any strategy. Third, images. We love images. Now, here's a little tip on some of the images. Images are about branding. So if you're good picture takers, use good images and use them consistently. And ladies, I know I got a lot of ladies on here, and Russ, don't get nervous. Michelle, don't get nervous. There's a little tidbit here that I got to tell you that always happens, and the pictures are never the best they can be. There's something called makeup on people's, on mostly women. Now I know Russ puts a little base on to look a little bit younger, and that's okay. I'm not judging him. But when you put this up, guess what? This here, and even on the backhand of here, you guys get makeup on that. And when you clean that up, you'll notice real quick that your images are not as blurry, or they have that flare effect. So when you're taking photos, be conscious of how the images look and be consistent with that, because it does matter. You do not need a photographer to take all your photos for social media. Is it super nice and great? Yes. But with a lot of the new cameras, you can take amazing photos as long as they look professional. You make sure that they're just not, you're not putting anything up. You got to take time for those images. All right. So we've got text only. We got links back to the website. We've got images. The other thing is video, the one that scares people the most. This is the one that is most underutilized throughout any organization and throughout Southern Illinois specifically. The fear of getting in front of a camera, the fear of, oh, what if I say something wrong? The accountability of how I look. No, a lot of those people don't care. And I'm going to tell you one reason why people don't really care about that. Because there's millions of people that watch videos of cats and rainbows nonstop. So don't worry about it, okay? Every one of you is a beautiful person. Why? Because your heart's in the right place, and you need to share that heart and that passion for your organization with everybody out there. We don't get that in text and images. We get that through looking at your eyes and looking at your body language. That's what people are going to connect. They're going to donate with you. They're going to donate for you. That's the whole purpose of doing video. And it's just a real connection. And if you do that consistently, don't go into it saying, I'm going to do one video and I'm going to raise $1 million. No, it doesn't work that way. When you do this, it's a lifestyle. It's like, you know what? I need to put this out there. Doesn't matter if one person watches it. That one person could be the one person that donates or trusts $1 million. And I'm speaking to the choir, to many of you, and I know Russ and Michelle specifically, you don't know who that person is. You know, just because Tom's, wearing a crazy suit doesn't mean Tom doesn't have money to donate, or a person that has a fancy suit might not. It just doesn't matter. The thing is, you give your opportunity to donate to your organization by just putting it out there. And what's great is social media works for you 24/7, 365 days. You never know when someone's going to go to your page today, tomorrow, 3 years from now, and they see a video or a post that changes their life and says, I want to donate to that. You just don't know. So if you don't put it out there, you're never going to know. So some of the tips on video. When you do video, try to have a tripod, try to hold the camera steady. Many times if you're walking, it's hard to follow. Really try to keep those videos 3 minutes. If they're real short, those Facebook Lives, they need to be 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I know that sounds for some people very scary because 3 minutes can be very long. And 3 minutes for some of us, like Michelle and I, we like to talk, it can be very short and we have to get everything pulled in really quick. So sometimes having a script is good, but I will tell you it's absolutely bad. The best thing you can do, the 100% best thing you can do is speak from your heart. And don't worry if you stumble or you make a mistake. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But do it like you're trying to get one person to watch and listen. Do not get hung up on, oh my gosh, one person saw this, I can't ever do this again. Or, 500 people saw this. It's not always going to be consistent. Just put the material out there and interact with them. Go back after your Facebook Lives or your video, engage, talk, interact, create a connection. Social media, ladies and gentlemen, is not about just putting content. There's a social component to it. That's why it's called social media. There's interaction. We forget that sometimes. So please go back on your pages, on your event pages, on your video, your Facebook Lives, and engage, interact. Even if you have nothing and there's just people that are liking it and you see some friends, just post down there and say, hey, Russ, I saw you were on the Facebook Live or Zoom call today. What did you think? What's one thing that you saw? And I know it's like, well, I'm calling someone out. Well, you're calling your friend out, and hopefully your friend will engage. Again, inviting. There's a mob mentality with social media. We see it all the time. Unfortunately, I wish it was more with organizations and less with political. But when someone goes on there and starts, there's a rainfall effect and everybody gets in there. Yes, Michelle just put, please feel free to ask any questions. So if you have any, put them in and she'll stop me or she'll let us know. All right, video, huge. The last one, the fifth type of content on Facebook is community. People want to know about your organization or business. Obviously, we're here focused on organization. They want to know, who are they giving their money to, right? I was actually worried about this. I was like, who wants to give money to a guy in a crazy suit, right? But it worked. We raised money. In the last couple of years, when I worked with Kevin Huntsberger on the Ugly Christmas Suit fundraiser, we were able to raise $8,000 for honor wreaths, and we were able to raise $6,000, I believe, don't quote me on these, for Children's Home and Aid, and then some other organizations, The Promise and Marion. You don't know how crazy your idea is until you actually try it, and you do it a couple of years. So don't be afraid to get outside the box, try something different with your content, with your, try something different. Or if you're in a box and you want to still do an event like a scramble or a golf scramble or a Jeep run, find ways to make it a little bit different. There's nothing wrong with copying, or people call stealing ideas, but make them your own. Just try to make them unique to your organization. And when you put that event out there, your content can also be unique with that. So with Facebook, the biggest thing that I can really get you guys to focus in on is create an event for Giving Tuesday. If you are working with Give SI, please, please, please work with our event page. Allow us to help you out. And you can also post content whenever you feel in that one. I don't think it'll get overrun or it'll get too bad. But if it becomes an issue and someone decides to post every hour, then maybe we'll have to talk to them and say, hey, can you slow down a little bit? But I've never seen that problem with organizations. Share that event page, work collectively together, help everybody. So the event is huge, whether you work with Give SI or not. Disable the Facebook donation button during that day of giving. Otherwise, make sure you have it enabled for your organization. You can raise money very easily, and it allows other people to raise money for your organization as well. And then content. Be creative. Use those 5 different types of content. That's everything that I can tell you that you need to do with Facebook during the Giving Tuesday campaign and the Give SI. Focus on those 5 pieces of content just for Facebook. All those tips right there, if you're consistent, you will be successful. Absolutely 100%. It's what you put into it. Before I jump into Instagram, are there any questions you guys might have on Facebook specifically? Russ, Michelle, any of you? I'll give you a couple of seconds.
Hey, Tom, one thing I was going to mention is that with Facebook, you can schedule stuff. So like I could today schedule out the next 3 weeks worth of posts. It's not that I have to get on there every day. I can kind of just do it all at once, and then you have those posts set up to happen in each of those days going out.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we're going to do with your toolkit is create a timeline and a suggested calendar of content for that 30-day period. When we talked the other day, I thought that was a great idea. So we're going to have a 30-day calendar, and you can use a third party. We use Agora Pulse here at Harness Digital Marketing. There is Buffer. I like Buffer a lot, or you can use a Hootsuite to schedule stuff. But if you literally take a half a day, and I'm being long, if you just take a half a day, 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours, you can plan all this out, have your strategy, everything that we give you. You can have it ready to go and have a plan, and you don't have to really worry about it. I mean, that's a great point, Byram, is that you can schedule this stuff individually within Facebook as well. Or if you use a third-party app, you can schedule it to multiple platforms. But you have a strategy, you have a timeline, and you're ready to go. But yes, a great point.
One of the things I wanted to mention too is if you choose to participate in Give SI, when donors go to that giving page, you're actually going to get, to start out, you're going to get a link that is a personalized link for your nonprofit. So you can share that link through social media. You can email that link to donors. However you choose to market that link, that's really kind of the thing that that the nonprofit is going to be responsible for. We're going to give you everything you need to do this, but we need you to reach out to your potential donors. That's something we aren't able to do for you, but we're going to give you everything you need to do it. So the personalized link that you're going to get, and we've actually created all those, they've all been done. And so as people sign up, they'll get a link, but that link that you're going to get will allow that person who uses that link to donate straight to you. So when you go on to Give SI, you're going to see a list of all the nonprofits who are participating. But when someone uses the link that we give you, it goes straight to your section of the donation page. So you don't have to worry about someone saying, yeah, I want to jump on and I'm going to donate to this specific nonprofit, and then get on there and decide to donate to someone else. That's not how that function is going to work. They're going to actually have the opportunity and the ability to donate to you, let's say nonprofit A, and then they're going to go back to a landing page that's going to allow them to choose another nonprofit. So if you participate in Give SI and I go on, let's say, to donate to Salvation Army, and I give my donation, and then I go back to the landing page, I might see Pregnancy Matters on there too and think, hey, wait a minute, I like what they do as well. Let me donate to them as well. So just because that first donor isn't your donor, they may have a chance to get back to that landing page. But most importantly, that personalized link will allow that donor to donate to you first. You'll get that first donation for that. So I think it's important to mention that as Tom works on providing this toolkit, you know, we will give you the resources that you need. You'll have all of that at, you know, at your control. But it is something where you're going to have the ability to get that first donation, and that will go to you, and then they will go back to a landing page. But again, all of this will be included in the toolkit. So if you sign up for Give SI, like Tom mentioned, you're going to get a content calendar, you're going to get the personalized link, you're going to get a timeline so that you know 2 weeks from now, what should you be doing for Give SI? What kind of things should you be doing 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, leading up to the actual 30 hours of giving? So I wanted to mention that. And then Cassie had a great question, Tom.
I'm reading her question right now.
Perfect.
So Cassie, your question was, I was thinking about giving a short virtual office tour to our private supporters Facebook page. Would that be better as a live type video or something I make beforehand and then release? Honestly, it could be either, but think of your audience. Is that video, that Facebook Live, going to be beneficial? Now, what you can do is do it on your main page, and then you can share that publicly to that private group too, because they might not be following everything on your main page. So I would say do it on your main page. It would be great to do an office tour. And here's what I do. I try to do some Easter egg kind of things, make some unique, funny things throughout there. And in fact, I don't know, I didn't look. What organization is Cassie with? Do you know?
I'm with Pregnancy Matters.
Oh, with Pregnancy Matters. Okay. So there's probably some things that you're going to need to be conservative a little bit on and safe because of HIPAA and stuff like that if you're going through the office, but maybe try to do something unique. I'm just going to throw some ideas out there. If you don't like them, it's totally okay. One of the babies that really kind of really jumps out at me is the baby from The Hangover. I think if you had something just sitting there and you just pan, you don't draw attention to it. Kind of like my cardboard cutout, I just basically ignore it, but every once in a while someone says, who's that behind you? Having these little things that catch people off guard, that's not the norm. I think a lot of people think it's that Pregnancy Matters it's a very secret topic. It's very hard to talk about. And that's just coming from a guy, okay? I'm just saying, I really think that if you try to lessen that a little bit, and I'm not saying don't make fun, have a little fun. We're still close in a little bit, not too far from October, from Halloween. There could be some other things. You could do like a tower of baby bottles. Do something unique with a baby bottle. But I think as you're walking through being serious, if you have something in the background that it catches them off guard, what's going to happen is someone's going to message and say, did I see that? Or did I see that? And then what you've done, you've hooked them. And you've like, yes, this is what we're trying to do. I'm thanks for watching. And I noticed that you noticed that. But if you do these little things, they help break it up, and especially for sensitive topics. But again, I would never ask or suggest that you do anything that would compromise the integrity or the respect of any organization. But my thing is, you have to still have fun. I know that sometimes the organizations that we cover, when we did Children's Home and Aid, there's a lot of sadness there on both sides, not only for parents, but for those kids. And I still think that there's some humility and there's still some compassion that we can have and still have fun to put that content out there. There's been, I mean, I've never shared this with Cammie, but there's been all kinds of crazy ideas I've had for the Salvation Army. I just wish I had an unlimited amount of time, and I wish I didn't have to work all the time and I could just pick one organization and live off of that one. But we all know that we're all eating ramen noodles every once in a while on that one, right? But there's a lot of things, if you step back from the forest and you stop looking for the trees, that if you really start to say, how can we make this different? How can we make our social media content a little bit different? How can we make this campaign a little different? And then when you stick with that over a period of time for 30, 40 days, that's what works. That's what worked for me. Wearing an ugly Christmas suit nonstop and promoting for 30 days was able to raise. Now, for some people who are like, man, if I'm going to do that, I need to raise 50, 60,000. I really didn't care. I knew that no matter what I raised, $300, it didn't matter, was going to go to an organization that didn't have nearly any close to that. That's why I chose those organizations. And it was time well spent, and it was fun. That was the best part about this whole thing. Yes, I was exhausted at the end of it, and everybody was tired of seeing the suit, no more than me. But it was fun. Michelle's never had to experience that, so the suit every day. So I hope that answers. What's that?
Follow-up question. I think Cassie has a follow-up question, maybe.
Did I miss that?
So, we've never had any good response to the Day of Giving. And I usually make a hard copy, hard mailing, end of year request that's been more and more successful each year over the past 3 years. So my question would be would this get in the way of or replace my end of year request?
Well, the end of the year, if it's timed right around the same time as Giving Tuesday, then yes, it would absolutely bump, and you're going to have to figure out as an organization, are you going to try to go all in on the Giving Tuesday and bypass, or, honestly, from a sales perspective, and I tell this all the time to nonprofits, listen, your job is to create opportunities and let people. I know a lot of us are like, man, I'm just so tired of sending this out. And I know it's probably desensitizing people and they're probably tired of that, but you don't know that moment when someone is able to come into money or something happens and you are the first person in mind. Your opportunity, your responsibility is to put the opportunity in front of those people to donate to you. Now, if it's real close back to back, I would try to coincide. I would actually, and I don't know all the works of your organization, I would try to tie that end of the year in with the Giving Tuesday every year and make one big campaign to do that. And if you did that and you tried to work with the Southern Illinois Community Foundation too, which I know you're set up because I remember seeing the link when we created it, you could actually help increase even more the amount of funds that you could get back. So I would combine those two, and that I'll let Russ and Michelle chime in too, and Byron.
Yeah, that's what I was going to advise too, because I know at Bren Prep School, we started doing Giving Tuesday, I think back in 2014. We were 13, 14. We were kind of early. In fact, I think I only remember 2 nonprofits in Southern Illinois doing Giving Tuesday the year we started. And what we learned very quickly is that, like Cassie said, we had a lot of donors that didn't give online, but they would give through the mail at the end of the year. So we combined. We decided that Giving Tuesday would be the kickoff for the end of the year giving. And so we just emphasized Giving Tuesday was a reminder for people that wanted to go online and give, but then encourage them from that time until December 31st. And we received some of our best gifts on December 31st. At least that's what the postmark said.
Would also just mention that the Give SI program versus your end of year giving are really going to reach 2 different audiences as well. So combining them would make sense because you are going to have 2 different people who are going to donate best given the information, whether online or by mail. I would say historically, end of year giving, when you do a physical letter, sometimes works really great for some nonprofits, but I have seen it also backfire because what happens is you send out this letter and people want to do one of 2 things. Either it's not the right time of year for them because they have so many other things during that time of year. So what they found is that if you move your year into giving closer to the beginning of December, you usually have more success. There are always going to be people who will postmark it on December 31st. And that definitely is true. But you also, as Tom mentioned, you have to think about the audience that you have as well. And typically a mailer versus something that's done online are going to reach two completely different audiences. And so if you can have a way that you can coincide that mailer with that social media event, then it usually works out a little bit better. But definitely think about what your end of year giving usually looks like. And I will say it sometimes can be tough for nonprofits to jump on that whole Facebook, let's do an end of the year giving. So this provides an opportunity that you still can reach your donors however you feel is necessary or best for your organization. We aren't taking that away. We just hope to give you the tools that you're right. That end of year can look different for everybody. So this is just one opportunity that you'll be able to use. And this spans across 17 counties. So the idea is that, yes, we want Giving Tuesday, this Give SI to be huge today, but can you imagine what it's gonna look like 5 years from now when we have all 17 counties participating in one huge giving day for Southern Illinois?
$1 million. Yes, totally possible. I believe that there's no end to what we can achieve throughout Southern Illinois United. Absolutely. So I'm going to continue with the second platform that I absolutely think there's really only two that I want you guys to really be focused on, and that's Instagram. So Instagram, if you are not on Instagram with your organization, you need to at least claim it and you need to be ready to utilize it. So what I would highly suggest is when you get Instagram, let me change my view here real quick. When you get Instagram, make sure that you have a strategy for it as well. It's very picture driven. So when I told you about the 5 different types of content with Facebook, Instagram's different. Video, and it is images. So your images are going to be crucial. This is about telling the story. This is people driven. This is compassion. This is creativeness. Now, it's okay if you're not creative, you can still put content out there and images, and you can have ways that you can reach people. But the number one thing that I want you to focus on, not necessarily posting content on Instagram, it's Instagram stories. Instagram stories gets 80% higher reach, and it's seen by so many more people than any other video component. Twitter's got their own through Periscope. They've got Periscope, which is live. Facebook has their stories as well. But Instagram stories is a great way to use video and images to tell a story. And it's usually those little round bubbles at the top. Those of you that are familiar with it, those of you that are not familiar with Instagram stories, by all means, please look at it. Please research it. If you have questions about it, let me know. On your app, it's completely app-driven on your phone. No desktop, nothing. Some of the images that you need to utilize are, like I said, people-driven, experiencing what it's like at the office, where things go for the money that you're donating, what's being donated, and telling your story. That's the biggest thing. We are so scared when we get to video and these short little videos things about being authentic. It's very hard for us to open up because one of two things happens. We're either afraid, most of us that are guys, we're afraid, oh man, I don't want to cry on the camera, man. I don't need that at all. However, it's authentic. You know, people can tell when they see you if you're, BSing them or you're asking for something you know nothing about. And if you're new and you're like, man, I don't know if I should even be asking money when I don't even know if I've got my stuff together, just try. You got to get the practice. You got to get in front of that camera. You've got to be able to get out there and just try. So you don't get money the first 3 or 4 or 5 videos you do. It's okay. At least you're learning and you're practicing and you're becoming more comfortable. You can always get feedback. I've had people many times, if you want myself to take a look at some of your Facebook Lives, you guys tag me, tag Tom Harness, send them through Messenger, send it to me. I'll give you some feedback. I will give you honest feedback on what are some things that you need to do. But you got to start. And these stories, it's kind of like Snapchat a little bit. It's easier to just kind of go through and just talk. And some of us have a hard time with that. Just try it. That's it. The other thing that I want, or the reason why I want you to use Instagram stories, they have a new feature called donation button. and you can add that donation button every time. They've got local search. They locally are connected with most of them. If you're registered online through the, I forget what it's called. Facebook uses it too. Michelle or Russ, do you remember? There's like a national organization that you can verify your nonprofit. I forgot the name of it. If you're in there, when you search, you will find it. If not, you need to add your nonprofit, and we can see if I can get you that information. Cassie, I think.
Well,
What's that, Cassie?
that donate well.
I believe it. I thought it was something else, but it might be
no,
Donate Well.
Good.
You're probably GuideStar.
GuideStar, that's it.
Okay.
Thank you, Byron.
Good too.
Byron for the win. Thanks, buddy, for having my back. I appreciate it. You want to make sure that your organization is registered with GuideStar, and that will help you. But Instagram stories, highly want you to focus on that. Use that donate option. There's a list of tools at the top when you have a video or an image, and you can add that to it. That donation, huge. People go through stories way more than they go through the timeline. They don't scroll as much as they used to. Now, that brings me to this timeline. I have not completed this, but I'm going to have a list of local and regional hashtags that you can use already that have been researched. So they will have the 20 to 25 hashtags are what you're going to need to use. We'll have that in the toolkit for you. You can copy and paste it, and hopefully that will help you. You need to use hashtags only for Instagram. And if you decide later on to use LinkedIn, they've added those, and those are actually very powerful in LinkedIn. You do not need them for Facebook. You only need them for Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, but we're not going to focus on Twitter or LinkedIn for this campaign. What else do I have here? Posting times, evenings. On Instagram, anything after 7 o'clock, man, we are huge consumers of Instagram late in the evening. Pretty much on Facebook, it's early morning and evening. There's some peak times. And if you look at your analytics, which we're not going to get into that, if you look at your Facebook analytics, it'll give you an idea of the best times to post. But Instagram, consistently, you need to be doing it after 8 o'clock. And I know for many of you are like, I have worked already enough time. Instagram is hard because you can't necessarily schedule it. There's some apps that will let you schedule them. Most of them, third-party apps will tell you, it'll be like a timer. You schedule it, and then it'll say, your phone will come up and say, hey, it's time to post, and you have to do it. So you might as well just do it. But Instagram, highly effective. That's why I want you to focus on just those two for Giving Tuesday, Facebook and Instagram. I think that's about it. Be creative, have fun, be picky about the images. There's a lot of things that we can get really picky about as far as strategy, but for Giving Tuesdays and for nonprofits, this first step, this kind of intro to intermediate will help you. 5 days a week, evenings, same thing. 5 pieces of content consistently going out, strategic hashtags, you'll be good to go. Use stories, use the donate button option, and you'll be good. Any questions? Because I got a couple of bonus. I'm going to go over just real quick. I got 3 little bonuses for you. But are there any questions about Instagram? Cassie.
Okay, I feel kind of silly because I just started Instagram for the first time this year. And we initially started it as a client page, and I was trying to reach clients. But it seems like the most people that are starting to follow us are donors. And so we market very differently to our donors than our clients. Should I just continue with like a medium?
Okay, so
Both of them?
What's great is you found really quick that your audience was going to be donors, which is great. Now, that doesn't mean you need to change anything. You can still be consistent and market to the donors, but still have fun. Sell the organization through creativeness, through you, through those stories. Or even better, if you want to do the timeline, you can do the timeline completely donors, and you can do the other one more branding for just everything else for stories. So if you just want to use stories, I've seen that work really well. Stories is completely separate. It's more fun, more playful, and you keep more professional, if you will, on the timeline part. You can always encourage people to go to your stories. I would do a little bit of both. I always like stories to be interactive, try to be fun, use images or motivate people. And then the timeline could be more about the branding of the organization, or if you want the donors, which would be fine. So you've got a couple of strategies. Do a hybrid of both, separate both for content, and then you could pretty much just do them all one, just all donors. I would highly recommend against that, though. There's a lot of potential out there for you to reach different audiences. And the creativeness, here's the thing that everybody forgets. It's like, oh, Facebook isn't for older people and Instagram. Here's the thing. If you have unlimited time, which none of us do, each one of these platforms has a demographic that will move up. If you are branding on each one, imagine this. No, they might not be in a time period right now to donate to you, but I call this like the minor leagues. You're in some of these other platforms, right? As if you're consistent, guess what? As they get older and they have more money, or something touches them, whether it's Alzheimer's, whether it's dementia, whether it's veterans organization, whatever it is, they're going to go back and they're going to remember what? They're going to remember how you guys were with them every step of the way. And that matters. This isn't just about what you get out of it, the donation. We are creating people that want to be associated with your brand, that they want to connect with. Again, back to the social part of social media. We want to make sure that they are going to be with you every step of the way. And unfortunately, we want to be entertained nonstop. Okay, we do. So that's where the consistency with the 5 posts come in. You have to do that all the way. You have to make sure that content's consistently going out. It's so important. But think of it that way too. Some of these other platforms you're investing in as well. But again, it goes back to your time. And I only want you to focus on Facebook and Instagram for this Giving Tuesday that's coming up. LinkedIn, I'm going to just real quick tell your story. Make sure you use custom bit.lys or URLs so you can track your donations. Twitter, same thing, hashtags. You need to schedule. If you have a Twitter page and you want to focus, Twitter is different than any other platform, right? It is a lot of content coming at you nonstop. Like those of you that are moms with, 2 or 3 kids and a husband and work and all that, you guys understand right off the bat that all this stuff is coming at you as soon as you get home. What's for dinner? You got groceries, kids need to get here. Kids. Okay. Imagine that. Now multiply that 100 times or 1,000 times of content coming at you. That's Twitter. So when you put content out on Twitter, you have to be strategic with hashtags and you have to put a lot of tweets out. So that's why I'm not real big into our region focusing on Twitter. It's probably for bigger nonprofits that have a lot of time and they can really do that. I'm not saying that it's not effective. It's just not effective for your time for what I've seen for our region. So that's why I don't really push Twitter. And then I'm going to throw this out there. Those of you that are absolutely creative, you want a golden ticket kind of thing, TikTok, all the way. Now, TikTok driving traffic to your donation page, tracking URL is going to be huge. Okay. I'll tell you this because I said on my little notes here, never underestimate the power of going viral, especially on TikTok. Wasn't homeless guy decides to get ocean, breeze, cranberry, decides to go on a skateboard, plays one of my favorite bands of all time, Fleetwood Mac, does this. Guess what? He did it consistently. Everybody else did it. Boom. This guy's now everywhere. Now, imagine if you had the opportunity to put content out there and you never know when it's going to go viral, and you have that opportunity then to what? Tell your message, sell your organization, tell your story. Everybody wants to know, I get this, how do I go viral? You don't go viral. You just become authentic. You do what you like to do, what you enjoy, and what happens. It's in God's hands at that point. You just put it out there. But if you don't put content out there and you don't get outside your comfort zone, you don't wear a crazy suit, or you don't wear a hat, or you don't, whatever you do, whatever you end up finding your thing is, if you don't try, you don't do that, you'll never know. And you won't have that big of an impact on the organization. And I know for a fact, every one of you will do just about anything legal. Make sure I put that in there for Russell. Will do anything legal to help and make your organization successful. So just remember that there's still things that you've got to get outside your comfort zone on, and usually marketing and branding is it. So, and then I'll end with the toolkit real quick. We're going to include images formatted for Facebook and Twitter and Instagram if you want the Twitter one. They're going to be portrait and landscape. an email template, custom bit.ly links to your donation page, a timeline of everything for you, and then a suggested content calendar. Those are the things that we're going to work with all the people that want to sign up and work with the Southern Illinois Community Foundation for the Give SI Day. But either way, you'll have this opportunity to impact hugely your organization by receiving funds, not only through Give SI, but through that national day of Giving Tuesday. So if there's any other questions, let me know. I hope,
Tom,
yeah.
Tom, we've got one more question. We are running out of time. So 30-second answer, I guess.
Okay.
This comes from Kimberly. Can you post too much? I feel some days we don't have, many people want to post content, and then other days one person will post 3 things in a row. I'm wondering if we need to be on a schedule for posting when there are multiple people who are able to post content.
Facebook, morning, evening, no more than 2 a day. If you have event photos, create lots of photos for an event, create an album, put all those images in an album one time, and that's what goes out. As far as Instagram, I'm not too worried about it. You can do 2 to 3 more a day if you want, as long as you're using strategic hashtags. Twitter, go crazy. LinkedIn, at this point, probably don't want to do over 5 a day, but I still vote for 1 a day. That's the best strategy to have on all the platforms, except for Twitter. You got to go really crazy.
Well, thank you, Tom. Really appreciate it.
Hey,
and,
Russ.
Kimberly gave you a thanks too.
Thank you, Kimberly. Byram has a question.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to, you were talking about the bit.ly, so I'm going to share a screen real quick with everybody so that they can see what the web page looks like. So this is the Give SI webpage. It is within the Southern Illinois Community Foundation, but if you type givesi.org, you will end up right here. So we are 41 days out, just so you can see that. But what I wanted to point to is, so this See Nonprofits, this is where people will go, and so you can see a lot of people in here. We don't have all the logos and we don't have the descriptions up, but you can see a lot of people are in here. This link is what's going to be attached to that bit.ly link. But what you don't want to do is on your website is let's say click this one here, and then it takes you to the donation portal. You don't want to now come up here and copy that. That is a unique ID that happens every time someone hits donate. So if you try to post that on your Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, when someone hits that link to what they see up there, they're going to get an error, and then they're not going to be able to donate. So what you have to do is, when Michelle and Tom send you the toolkit, it's going to have a link that's embedded into this button, but you have to make sure you use the right one. And what I would say is, when you do make a post, then go back and hit the button like you're going to make a donation. You don't actually have to make a donation, but test it once, because we've had people in the past do that, where then they copy and paste and then it doesn't work, and then they have a bunch of frustrated donors. So, and the bit.ly link will be a shorter one. What's currently attached to the donate is a much longer one, and we want you to use the bit.ly one because it'll be a very short and it won't take up a lot of room on your posts once you get on the screen. If you haven't signed up, there is a non-registration button, or if you know another nonprofit that wants to sign up, this will tell you about it, and then you can click here and it will open the form that you can fill out. So that is the place to go through and start signing up for if you're a nonprofit. There's also an About Give SI, which does have a lot of questions that we've already tried to answer, and we will be doing more of this. And so I just thought it was important to share that here. And then I think maybe Michelle's going to talk some more about some follow-up opportunities for us to talk about this as we get closer.
Yeah, Michelle, you get the last word today. Do you want to take a few seconds?
I would just say we are really running out of time. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact us at the Community Foundation. We are here to help you. Anything you need for this campaign, this program, we're here to help with that. So whether or not you decide to participate, hopefully the information that Tom spoke about today will help you in some of your social media pages and be able to to grow your community of donors, but definitely consider joining us for Give SI for the Community Giving Day. Again, it's going to be a 30-hour giving day. We're really excited to bring this to the lower 17 counties of Southern Illinois. And I would just, again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be here to help you in any way we can.
Yeah, and Michelle, if you've got just a couple more minutes as we hang up on this call, would you stay on? There might be somebody that does have some instant questions. I'm going to allow them to join you if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Hey, I want to thank
Absolutely.
Tom Harness, the owner and operator and founder of Harness Digital Marketing, and great program. Thank you so much, Tom. Really appreciate your expertise, your kindness, and how you present so well to everybody, and was helpful today. Also want to thank you for joining us today, the Third Tuesday Roundtable. Our next Third Tuesday is November 17th. We'll also be talking about end of the year giving. And so join us, put it on your calendar for November 17th. I want to thank Michelle Snyder, Program Director again, and also our CEO, Byron Fager, for making this possible. Thank you all for joining us. As I said, if you want to hang around for a couple minutes, Michelle's going to field some questions for you. But have a great Tuesday. Have a great week. Thank you for joining us.